Damp and dreary with changes coming fast. I'm timing out when the rain tapers off and a new WRAL weather alert day this week.
Then a battle over clean energy, how federal budget cuts could stall our state's economic growth. And hundreds of new jobs. We'll show you where companies are investing in North Carolina and what it really means for our area. Well, what a week it's been, right? For weather in our area. We've had rain over the past 3 days and a chance again for storms tomorrow and Friday. How about it? Thanks for being with us here at 7 o'clock. I'm Dan Haggerty. Let's send it over to Kat. So today's rain is calming down, which is nice, but we pick right back up again tomorrow, Kat.
Yes, we do. So let's enjoy this nice, quiet radar. It's not going to stay this way too much longer. I will say there will be a lot of dry time tomorrow before the rain chances really begin to ramp up. We've even been able to see some sunshine today, especially in the southern half of our viewing area. But at least we've seen some sun break between the clouds in the triangle. Low pressure is moving offshore, and that's going to take rain chances with it tonight. Some fog's likely to develop, so there could be a little mist. But our next big system is this area of low pressure well to our west. It's going to drag a cold front through the area as we head into the day Friday. Out ahead of it, there could be some scattered storms both tomorrow and Friday, but Friday is really going to be the day to watch. Tomorrow, there's a level 1 threat for damaging wind gusts. However, a lot of these storms will arrive after the evening commute. Not everybody's going to see storms. So that's why we didn't go with the WRAL weather alert day. Friday is a different story. It's a WRAL weather alert day with higher threats and different threats. We're going to have a closer look at Friday and your weekend coming up.
All right. Thank you, Kat. Let's get you caught up on some of today's headlines. These are the 5 things you should know right now. In a letter sent today to the state health department, it says they've seen progress now at the Vance County Jail. The state identified several problems there, including overpopulation. It was at 87 people in April. Now it's down to 31. The jail has also hired more staff. They fixed doors and locks. They acquired new two-way radios, metal detectors, body scanners, all that sort of stuff. The state says more work needs to be done, and failure to do so will result in the closing of that jail. So it's important work. A Durham man will spend the rest of his life in prison for murdering the mother of his child. A jury found Rodney Crawford guilty. Bullock had a protective order, his former girlfriend, out against Crawford at the time of her death. Crawford was convicted for killing her in a hotel room and leaving her there for more than 6 hours. Crawford was found guilty for several other charges, but because of the life sentence, he's not going to face any additional time for those additional crimes. The curfew is official in Fayetteville. City Council approving the rule last night. It says anyone 16 and under cannot be out between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. There are some exceptions if those young people are working or if they're with a parent. The city also has a meeting scheduled for June 9th to plan how these rules exactly are going to be enforced. So if you thought we had a lot of rain, take a look at what's happening at the North Carolina coast. This is out in Southport. Look at it, just coming down there in sheets in Brunswick County. They've seen rain and flooding enough for 4 water rescues, 18 road closures. It has been a mess. The threat out there has since decreased, though, which is good. Ford is recalling more than 1 million vehicles over issues with their rear view cameras. There's a software problem, apparently, that may delay the images that you see from the camera or make the screen freeze up entirely. The problem is responsible, they say, for at least 1 crash. Owners with impacted vehicles should get a letter by June 16th, giving you some details. Governor Josh Stein wants the clean energy sector to keep growing in North Carolina. Solar panels, batteries, that sort of thing. You see, tax credits for renewable energy could get an axe in the upcoming federal budget. And as WRAL Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie reports, some say those subsidies should end, while others want to keep them.
North Carolina has become one of the top states in the country for clean energy tech, and that's due in part to years of public investment, from federal subsidies to state and local incentives. Well, some people say it's time for those subsidies to end, and that could pull the plug on the state's economic growth. Tyler Slavin travels around the Southeast, educating consumers about electric vehicles.
This is essentially a dryer plug that it plugs into.
Slavin says people often worry about running out of power, so having lots of charging stations around is key.
So it's super important to have examples of, fast charging installed that they can stop quickly for about 30 minutes and then continue down the road. So it's certainly important to have that public infrastructure built out.
The 2022 Inflation Reduction Act helped North Carolina pay for more chargers to make EVs more attractive to consumers. It also included hundreds of millions of dollars in tax credits to make other clean energy projects more attractive to investors. As a result, clean energy is now a booming business in North Carolina, but that could change soon. President Donald Trump and some in Congress want to repeal the IRA and get rid of those tax credits. They say it's a waste of taxpayer dollars. Governor Josh Stein sees that as a major threat to the state's economy.
Repealing these credits would cost the state tens of thousands of jobs by 2030 and billions of dollars in investment that is ready to be made.
Stein said it could also threaten projects that are already underway.
They were told that these credits existed. Many of them have made major business decisions about investing in North Carolina. We've got to preserve those credits so that the companies get the bargain that they struck.
Now, there's some movement on the state level as well to get rid of incentives for clean energy. Take solar panels, for example. Some Republican lawmakers say they're taking up too much farmland. However, a lot of those clean energy projects are great sources of tax revenue, and many of them are located in Republican districts. Laura Leslie, WRAL News, Raleigh.
Thank you, Laura. So it is do or die, win or go home, even though they're kind of at home. Either way, their backs are against the wall. It's a must win. The Canes are down, but they're not out. They control their own destiny. They're in the driver's seat. That's right. This is another round of pick a cliche for the Carolina Hurricanes. Things still look good. They don't look that good. They are down 3-1 against the Florida Panthers, but the Canes are on home ice tonight, and that's got to count for something. WRAL's Aaron Thomas is live there at the Lenovo Center. Look, a lot of fans there. They're going to pack the place, and they're certainly not showing up to see the Canes lose.
That's right, Dan. In fact, I've lost count of how many times that we've heard the word hope when you consider what the Canes are going up against as they face the defending Stanley Cup champions, Florida Panthers, once again. Now, as you see many of these fans flow inside Lenovo Center with the doors open, we're seeing how far they will go in supporting their team.
Let's go, Canes!
There you have it. Tailgaters sending their own hurricane warning to the Florida Panthers tonight with their siren at this tailgate. Then you have others that are sporting custom-made clean kicks. Hope is alive and well, and many of these fans are still riding the momentum of Monday night's performance in Florida. You may think this is over the top when it comes to some of the shirts and the towels, but Caniacs say that this creates a vibrant atmosphere and builds community.
I think we're all showing how much we're behind our Hurricanes, how much we're going to support them, how much we'll go to extremes, such as buying hurricane-specific shoes, just to show our support. The community here, we are 100% behind our Hurricanes.
So how long have you been doing this for? How hopeful are you for a win tonight? They definitely need this one. And there you have it. Of course, we had to speak with a special guest. That is Caniac Chewy. He has been coming to Canes games for the past 3 seasons. He tells me that he found out about the Star Wars theme night, and since then, he has been a regular mainstay here at the Canes game. So, of course, I've been covering Canes for quite some time, and I've seen everything. I've seen custom-made tattoos. You've seen the towels. You've seen the shoes. Everything to support the Canes. And we'll see what happens tonight when puck drops at 8 o'clock. Dan?
We should put some skates and pads on Chewy. He's pretty big. All right, so let's give people, Aaron, just some realistic facts and figures here. Only 4 teams have come back and actually won a series while being down 3-0. The Canes have it at 3-1 now. Even if they don't manage that, it is good that the team broke that conference finals drought.
That's right. That's something that was weighing on a lot of these fans. And, of course, we were looking at some statistics and we found out that they broke this 15-game losing streak dating back to 2009. Here's also another tidbit for you. This is the longest losing streak by a team in the playoff round other than the Stanley Cup final in NHL history. So, of course, these folks will definitely take any sort of positive energy that they can get. And, of course, they are riding off the momentum from Monday night's game. Dan?
Let's do it. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate it. Now, we're going to have exclusive insight and expert analysis of tonight's game on Canes' exclusive post-game live. Hopefully, they'll be celebrating on there. Don't miss it all at 11:25 tonight on WRAL. So company after company has committed to investing here in our area. It's on the news all the time. We're talking about thousands of new jobs, billions of dollars from all these companies. And it's not just Raleigh and Durham. It's really everywhere from Johnston to Wayne to Chatham to Cumberland. But why here exactly? What kind of jobs can we expect? Let's talk about that after the break. It is time now for a developing story in our area. There's always something being built or a big company breaking ground in a community growing like ours. And we like to talk about that here on WRAL News at 7 tonight. Let's talk about the huge job growth in our area. Just this month, 2 major manufacturers announced plans to expand in Goldsboro, adding more than 500 new jobs. One company makes breathable films. No, I'm not talking about movies about Wim Hof. I mean physical film. The other company makes transformers. No, I'm not talking about Optimus Prime. We're talking about the kind that keeps your lights on. WRAL's Heidi Kirk found out that these are the kinds of investments that keep the best and brightest here in North Carolina.
Macy Sauls wasn't sure she'd return to Wayne County after graduating from NC State, but a job at the Development Alliance brought her home.
I really have grown a sense of pride for the county after learning more about what is going on behind the scenes.
More than ever, she sees the county as a place she could stay.
I feel very opportunistic about raising my kids here and then hopefully extending those roots so they'll stay here one day and have a job.
The recent job announcements give her that certainty. Just this month, both Pelson Textile, a breathable film manufacturer from outside the U.S., and Prolec GE Waukesha, a transformer manufacturer with a facility already in the county, announced investments totaling over $2 million. They're bringing over 500 jobs, ranging in education requirements with an average annual salary above the county average.
All of these announcements are good news for the unemployment rate here. In fact, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, it's the lowest it's been in Wayne County in at least 3 decades.
Economic developers like Mark Pope say lowering that rate has been the focus, often finding ways to incentivize companies to come here.
I wanted to make sure we were doing the right things and dropping that unemployment rate, but we've got some great companies in Eastern North Carolina. You know, manufacturing is our key.
Sauls has seen it in action, watching some people she grew up with find jobs right out of school.
A lot of my classmates that I graduated high school with or just people I knew in the community, who didn't go to college have found good jobs here, and now there's even more jobs for them to be able to stay and grow families of their own.
Jobs creating a new path for people in Eastern North Carolina. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News, Wayne County.
All right, thank you to Heidi. Now, it's not just Wayne County getting all those opportunities for these manufacturing jobs. Companies really seem to be announcing these expansions or investments in our area. It feels like once a month sometimes. And I mean, you just look at the last year and see it. Nearly 7,000 new jobs announced in our area. Wilson, Johnston, Chatham, Cumberland, Wake, Hoke, and Wayne counties, pharmaceutical companies, window manufacturers, titanium plants, battery makers, so many more. Companies investing hundreds of millions of dollars. And that's a lot of investment in our communities. But remember, these jobs, they don't show up overnight. Many of these plans play out over time, 5, 10, 15 years. So the question becomes, what if these companies don't come through, or what if things get delayed? And I ask that because we have seen that happen a lot in our area. You remember VinFast, the big VinFast announcement for Chatham County in 2022, billions of dollars, thousands of workers. The goal is to get their facility up and running this year, but it's being delayed time and time again. Now it's delayed to 2028. And what about Apple and RTP? You remember that announcement came down in 2018. Those plans are on hold too. They hired a few hundred people, but construction on that full campus probably isn't happening for many more years to come, if it happens at all. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Now, those are obviously much bigger, larger investments and much bigger projects than the announcements that we've seen over the last year or so. But if these companies don't keep their promises, you should know that the state and local governments can then kind of pull back or claw back those tax incentives that encourage people to come here in the first place. We saw this with a company in Raleigh called Bandwidth in 2020. That company promised an 1,100 job expansion, but they didn't reach that goal, and the state then terminated the incentives package that they had for them. Now, these companies only cash in if they come through. Then there's the types of jobs these companies do plan to bring, and it's mostly involving manufacturing. The people who fill these jobs, though, won't be on an assembly line, at least not in the traditional way. They will be programmers and technicians and engineers. We have talked a lot about the modern era of manufacturing here on WRAL News at 7. It's all about automation. All right, one last thing to talk about tonight. We're always so impressed by the young people in our area. We have a lot of impressive ones. This month, 14 Girl Scouts in Wake County won the organization's most prestigious award, the Gold Award. And this isn't about selling cookies. I know that's where your head went. The Girl Scouts, of course, do so much more than dish out Thin Mints. These young ladies have developed apps, created tools for education. They've built equipment for wildfire conservation, preserved historical artifacts. They've done so much great work. And we had the opportunity to talk to Kriti Pichu. She's a senior at Green Level High School in Cary. Her Gold Award project was about improving access to STEM education for children with Down syndrome. She created these videos you see here, teaching kids about the water cycle, basic physics, and so much more. Each video with its own experiment to help students learn about the world around them. Kriti told us that she spent a long time volunteering at local elementary schools, helping students with special needs. That is what motivated her to do this specific project. And she says it couldn't have happened without years of participation as a Girl Scout.
Girl Scouts is incredibly important to me, especially because I've been a part of it since I was 9 years old. And being able to, so first of all, I feel like the number one thing that it helped me do was connect with people. I think that's been so important to me throughout my life, especially as someone who used to be a bit more reserved as well. It's helped me open up and embrace so many different types of people, so many different perspectives as well. I'm just so grateful for the fact that through this organization, through my troop, I've been able to learn about things that I might not necessarily learn about otherwise.
So she has a bright future ahead of her, which you probably already guessed. She's going to go to UNC Chapel Hill, plans to take the pre-med track, and one day become a doctor. Thank you for making WRAL your choice for local news. Our next newscast is at 10 o'clock on Fox 50, and then we will see you right back here on WRAL at 11. Until then, let's go Canes, and have a great night.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.